महाप्रभु कीर्तन नित्य गीता विक्रमाद्यान् मनसो रसेना रोमाञ्चकम्पा श्रुतरङ्गभाजो वन्दे गुरो श्री चरणारविन्दा श्रीविग्रहाराधन नित्यनाना श्रृङ्गारतन् मन्दिरमर्चनादो श्रीविग्रहाराधन नित्यनाना श्रृङ्गारतन् मन्दिरमर्चनादो युक्तस्य भक्ताक्षनियुञ्जतोऽपि वन्दे गुरो श्री चरणारविन्दम् चतुर्विधा श्री भगवत्प्रसाद स्वादन्नतीर्था हरिभक्तसंघा चतुर्विधा श्री चरणारविन्दा श्रीराधिका माधवयोरपारो माधुर्यलीला गुणरूपनामा श्रीराधिका माधवयोरपारो माधुर्यलीला गुणरूपनामा प्रतिवल्लभास्य वन्दे गुरो श्री चरणारविन्द साक्षाद्भूतेन समस्तशास्त्रे उक्तस्तथा भाव्यत एव साधि साक्षाद्भूतेन समस्तशास्त्रे उक्तस्तथा भाव्यत एव साधि किन्तु प्रभुर्याप्य एव तस्य वन्दे गुरो श्री चरणारविन्द किन्तु प्रभुर्याप्य एव तस्य वन्दे गुरो श्री चरणारविन्द यस्य प्रसादात् भगवत्प्रसादो यस्य प्रसादात् न गति कुतोऽपि यस्य प्रसादात् भगवत्प्रसादो यस्य प्रसादात् भगवत्प्रसादो यस्य प्रसादात् न गति कुतोऽपि वन्दे गुरो श्री कृष्णाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी
Divine grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki, Diskan Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada ki, Ananta Gauda Vaishnava Vrinda ki, Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki, Ganzagaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advait Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki, Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopi Gopinath Chamakund Radha Kund Giri Govardhana ki, Vrindavan Dham ki, Mayapur Dham ki, Jagannath Puri Dham ki, Jamuna Maya ki, Ganga Maya ki, Tulsi Devi ki, Bhakti Devi ki, Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda ki, Harinam Sankirtan Yoga ki, Brihat Madanga Transcendental Book Distribution ki, ISKCON Ireland ki, Go Brahmanande, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga.
Namaste Narasimhaya. Bhakti Srimad Prahlad Maharaj ki jai. Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nitai Gaura Premanande.
Vrindaye Tulsi Deva Priye Kesava Sacha Vishnu Bhakti Pali Devi Satyavacha Namo Namaha Vrindaye Tulsi Deva Priye Kesava Sacha Vishnu Bhakti Pali Devi Satyavacha Namo Namaha Tulsi Maharani Ke Jai. Jalasi Krishna Prayasi Namo Namo Radha Krishna Deva Prabhu Deva Vrindaye Tulsi Devai Priye Kesava Sacha Vishnu Bhakti Pari Devi Satyavacha Namo Namah Vrindaye Tulsi Devai Priye Kesava Sacha Vishnu Bhakti Pari Devi Satyavacha Namo Namah Vrindaye Tulsi Devai Priye Krishna Sacha Vishnu Bhakti Pari Devi Satyavacha Namo Namah Tulsi Maharani Ki
Guru Charane Rati Aise
His Divine Grace of H. Arvind Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki, ISKCON founder Acharya PBT founder Acharya Savior of the whole world Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki, Srila Gurudev ki, Ananta Koti Vaishnavrind ki, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Nitai Gaur Premanande. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki.
Jai.
माला तो आपका है क्या शास्त्र में आपने मतलब एक शास्त्र में श्री गुरु
First, to blaspheme the devotees who have dedicated their lives for propagating the holy name of the Lord. Second, to consider the names of demigods like Lord Shiva or Lord Brahma to be equal to or independent of the name of the Lord Vishnu. Third, to disobey the orders of the spiritual master. Fourth, to blaspheme the very scriptures of scriptures in pursuance to the Vedic version. Fifth, to consider the glories of chanting Hare Krishna to in imagination. Sixth, to give some interpretations to the holy name of the Lord. Seventh, to commit to activities on the dashnas of the holy name. Eighth, to consider chanting of the Hare Krishna as one of the auspicious ritualistic activities which are offered in destructive activities. Karmakand. 9. To instruct the faithless person about the glories of the holy name. 10. To not have complete faith in the chanting of the holy name and to maintain material attachments even after understanding so many instructions on this matter. It is also an offense to be in a temple while chanting. Every devotee who claims to be Vaishnava must guard against these offenses in order to quickly achieve the desired success. Krishna Prem.
Let's offer our respectful obeisances to all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord. They are just like the desirous who fulfill the desires of everyone, and they are full of compassion for all the fallen conditioned souls.
We will continue the chanting till 7:30.
Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Jai Shri Krishna Shivasani Guru Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Rama 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 Krishna Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama 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 Hare Rama Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Krishna Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Rama. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama Rama. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama Rama. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama Rama. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama Rama. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama Rama. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama Rama. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama Rama. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama Rama. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama Rama. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama Rama. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama Rama. Manjari Mama A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Namacharya Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Nath Gaur Vaishnavindi ki jai, Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur ki jai, Kantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Gaur Premanande, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Shishi Guru and Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 8, chapter 19, text number 21. I'm going to do a few verses here. So it's 8, 19, 21. And I'm going to do a few verses because it's a real treat from Srila Prabhupada. We're talking some of the purports, some really, really good purports here. They're all really good purports. But these ones really stand out. He wrote this, the 8th canto, so this would be around 1976, 76 towards the end of, mid-76 towards end of 76. So Srila Prabhupada has been translating all these purports and verses for a long time. And the interesting part about it is in a couple of these verses, Prabhupada talks about the whole purpose of the Hare Krishna movement, you know. He talks about it very, he says it in words like, this is what the Krishna consciousness movement is about. Now, Srila Prabhupada did actually say that quite a lot. I was listening to a talk on the way in this morning. It was in Honolulu in 1969, and he talked to the devotees, and he was saying to them, "This is Krishna consciousness." And practically every sentence he said, "And this is Krishna consciousness, and this is Krishna consciousness, and this is Krishna consciousness." So Srila Prabhupada was not in any, the way he presented things, it was very clear. So therefore, I just thought that this was a really nice section, which will demonstrate that very well. But the only thing is that, well, please read it as we go along, but it will take concentration, be able to really kind of follow it, because it's quite long. There's two verses with long purports, but they're absolutely amazing purports. They really, really are.
Which shloka is that? Which shloka is that?
It's 8, 19, 21. Okay. Yeah, you can agree. Shri Bhagavan Vacha. Shri Bhagavan Vacha. Yavanto Vishaya Preshtas. Yavanto Vishaya Preshtas. Sri Lokyam Ajitendriyam. Sri Lokyam Ajitendriyam. Nashaknuvanti te sarve. Nashaknuvanti te sarve. Pratipuraitam nipa. Pratipuraitam nipa. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. Yavanto Vishaya Preshtas. Yavanto Vishaya Preshtas. Sri Lokyam Ajitendriyam. Sri Lokyam Ajitendriyam. Nashaknuvanti te sarve. Nashaknuvanti te sarve. Pratipuraitam nipa. Pratipuraitam nipa. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. Yavanto Vishaya Preshtas. Yavanto Vishaya Preshtas. Sri Lokyam Ajitendriyam. Sri Lokyam Ajitendriyam. Nashaknuvanti te sarve. Nashaknuvanti te sarve. Pratipuraitam nipa. Pratipuraitam nipa.
Shri Bhagavan Uvacha.
Shri Bhagavan Uvacha.
Yavanto Vishaya Preshthas.
Yavanto Vishaya Preshtas.
Trilokayam Ajitendriyam.
Trilokayam Ajitendriyam.
Nashaknuvanti te sarve.
Nashaknuvanti te sarve.
Pratipuraitam nipa.
Pratipuraitam nipa.
Shri Bhagavan Uvacha.
Shri Bhagavan Uvacha.
Yavanto Vishaya Preshthas.
Yavanto Vishaya Preshtas.
Trilokyam Ajitendriyam.
Trilokyam Ajitendriyam.
Nashaknuvanti te sarve.
Nashaknuvanti te sarve.
Pratipuraitam itum nripa.
Pratipuraitam nipa.
Shri Bhagavan Uvacha.
Shri Bhagavan Uvacha.
Yavanto Vishaya Preshthas.
Yavanto Vishaya Preshtas.
Trilokyam Ajitendriyam.
Trilokyam Ajitendriyam.
Nashaknuvanti te sarve.
Nashaknuvanti te sarve.
Pratipuryantum narpaha.
Pratipuraitam nipa.
Shri Bhagavan Uvacha.
Shri
Bhagavanu Vacha
Yavanto Vishyan Sarve
Yamato Vishyapreshthas
Trilokyam Ajitendriyam
Trilokyam Ajitendriyam
Nashaknovanti Te Sarve
Nashaknovanti Te Sarve
Pratipurya Yatum Nripa
Pratipuryayitam Nipa Shri Bhagavan Vacha The Supreme Personality of Godhead said,
The Supreme Personality of Godhead said,
Yavanta, as far as possible, Vishaya, objects of sense enjoyment, Vishtaha, pleasing to anyone, Trilokyam, within these three worlds, Ajita Indriyam, a person who is not self-controlled, Nashaknovanti, are unable, Te, all those, Sarve, taken together, Pratipuraitam, to satisfy, Nripa, O King. Translation and purport of language. This one we should follow. The personality of Godhead said, O my dear King, even the entirety of whatever there may be within the three worlds to satisfy one's senses cannot satisfy a person whose senses are uncontrolled. Purport. The material world is an illusory energy to deviate the living entities from the path of self-realization. Anyone who is in this material world is extremely anxious to get more and more things for sense gratification. Actually, however, the purpose of life is not sense gratification, but self-realization. Therefore, those who are too addicted to sense gratification are advised to practice the mystic yoga system or Ashtanga yoga system consisting of yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, and so on. In this way, one can control the senses. The purpose of controlling the senses is to stop one's implication in the cycle of birth and death, as stated by Rishabhadeva. Nunam pramate kurate vikarma yat indriya pritiya aprinoti nasadu manye yata atmanoyam asana pikleshita asadeha. When a person considers sense gratification the aim of life, he certainly becomes mad after materialistic living and engages in all kinds of sinful activity. He does not know that due to his past misdeeds, he has already received a body which, although temporary, is the cause of his misery. Actually, the living entity should not have taken on a material body, but he has been awarded the material body for sense gratification. Therefore, I think it not befitting an intelligent man to involve himself again in the activities of sense gratification, by which he perpetually gets material bodies one after another. Thus, according to Rishabhadeva, the human beings in this material world are just like madmen engaged in activities which they should not perform, but which they do perform only for sense gratification. Such activities are not good because in this way one creates another body for his next life as punishment for his nefarious activities. And as soon as he gets another material body, he is put into repeated suffering in material existence. Therefore, the Vedic culture, or Brahminical culture, teaches one how to be satisfied with possessing the minimum necessities in life. To teach the highest culture, Varnashram Dharma is recommended. The aim of Varnashram divisions, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, Brahmacharya, Grahastha, Vanaprastha, and Sannyas, is to train one to control the senses and be content with the bare necessities. Here, Lord Vamanadev, as an ideal brahmachari, refuses Bali Maharaj's offer to give him anything he might want. He says that without contentment, One could not be happy even if he possessed the property of the entire world or the entire universe. In human society, therefore, the Brahminical culture, Kshatriya culture, and Vaishya culture must be maintained, and people must be taught how to be satisfied with only what they need. In modern civilization, there is no such education. Everyone tries to possess more and more, and everyone is dissatisfied and unhappy. The Krishna consciousness movement is therefore establishing various forums, especially in America, to show how to be happy and content with minimum necessities of life, and to save time for self-realization, which one can very easily achieve by chanting the Maha Mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Come to the next verse. I'll just Trivikramir asantushto dvipenapi napuryate navavarsha sanatena saptadvipa varechaya. Translation. If I were not satisfied with 3 places of land, then surely I would not be satisfied even with possessing one of the 7 islands consisting of 9 varshas. Even if I possessed one island, I would hope to get others. Next 3. Sapta dvipadi patayo nripavanya gayadaya arta kamar gatanum tam Krishnaya itinakshutam. Translation. We have heard that although powerful kings like Maharaj Prithu and Maharaj Gaya achieved proprietorship over the 7 dvipas, they could not achieve satisfaction or find the end of their ambitions. In text 24. Radrichai opayanena santushto vartate sukam na santushtas tripir lokar ajitatmo pasaditaha. Translation. One should be satisfied with whatever he achieves by his previous destiny. For discontent can never bring happiness. A person who is not self-controlled will not be happy, even with possessing the 3 worlds. Purport. If happiness is the ultimate goal of life, one must be satisfied with the position in which he is placed by Providence. This instruction is also given by Prahlad Maharaj. Sukham ai indriya kam deja deha yogena dehinam sarvatra labhyate daivat yata dukkam ayatnata. My dear friends, born of demoniac families, and the happiness perceived with reference to the sense objects by contact with the body can be attained in any form of life according to one's past fruitive activities. Such happiness is automatically obtained without endeavor, just as we obtain stress. So, sorry to keep engaging you, but just if you can keep concentrating just for the next part. I'm sure you are already, but still. This philosophy is perfect in regards to obtaining happiness. And this is another crunch verse. Real happiness is described in Bhagavad Gita 6:20-21. Sukham atyantikam yantat buddhi graham atindriyam vediyatra chayayam shtitas chalati tatvada. In the spiritually joyous state, one is situated in boundless transcendental happiness and enjoys himself through transcendental senses. Established thus, one never departs from the truth. One has to perceive happiness by the super senses. The super senses are not the senses of the material elements. Every one of us is a spiritual being, aham brahmasmi, and every one of us is an individual person. Our senses are now covered by material elements, and because of ignorance, we consider the material senses that cover us to be our real senses. The real senses, however, are within the material covering. Dehinos minyata dehi. Within the covering of the material elements are the spiritual senses. When the spiritual senses are uncovered, by these senses we can be happy. Satisfaction of the spiritual senses is thus described. Hrishikena Hrishikesha Sevana Bhakta Uchate. When the senses are engaged in devotional service to Rishikesh, then the senses are completely satisfied. Without this superior knowledge of sense gratification, one may try to satisfy his material senses, but happiness will never be possible. One may increase his ambition for sense gratification and even achieve what he desires for the sense gratification of the senses. But because this is on the material platform, he will never achieve satisfaction and contentment. And again, here's another few major points coming up. According to Brahminical culture, one should be content with whatever he obtains without special endeavor and should cultivate spiritual consciousness. Then he will be happy. The purpose of the Krishna consciousness movement is to spread this understanding. People who do not have scientific spiritual knowledge mistakenly think that the members of the Krishna consciousness movement are escapists trying to avoid material activities. In fact, however, we are engaged in real activities for obtaining the ultimate happiness in life. If one is not trained to satisfy the spiritual senses and continues in material sense gratification, he will never obtain happiness that is eternal and blissful. It's a very important verse. Srimad Bhagavatam 5.5.1 therefore recommends Tapo divyam putrakarena sattvam shujetya smad ramasokam tanantam. One must practice austerity so that his existential position will be purified and he will achieve unlimited blissful life. Shubhava ki jai. We could nearly just go home now after that, it's all been said, but it's quite, there's two parts. I'll just take the part that we just read there, actually, Tapo Divyam Putrakayena Sattvam. And this is in the 5th canto, 5th chapter, verse number 1. Does anybody know who spoke that? King Rishabhadeva, yes. And who's he speaking to?
2 sons.
How many?
100.
100 sons, yes. Who's the most famous of his sons? Bharat Maharaj. But what about this book? 10 other sons who are famous as well. What are they called? They appear in the 11th canto. They're called the... I can't remember myself. But anyway, we wait till we get to the 11th canto. It's worth waiting for. They're the Yogendras, the 9 Yogendras. So these are the great saints, from the Brahminical. These are the Brahmins, and they will start speaking incredible knowledge in that 11th canto. But here, I just wanted to start with that particular verse, Tapo Divam Putrakayena Sattvam, which means that we perform divine austerities. The tendency is for us to try to enjoy ourselves separately from Krishna with these senses that we have. It's kind of so easy. It's kind of set up that way. But Prabhupada said that the goal of the Krishna consciousness movement and what we should all be doing is imbibing that ourselves, realizing that we have spiritual senses, and with those spiritual senses, we will start to obtain spiritual bliss. And the reason is because we cannot obtain bliss from material happiness. It's just not available. Now we are in that stage. We are actually covered to a large degree by passion and ignorance. Just wants to make sure everybody's listening. We are definitely wanting to be on the spiritual stage, the spiritual platform. So we have to learn ourselves then how we can actually elevate our consciousness. It is the sadhana bhakti stage talks about we perform. It's very, very simple. We chant Hare Krishna in the morning time. It's like that. It's as simple as that. We may not always be thinking about Krishna when we're chanting Hare Krishna. We may be thinking about so many other things. But still, every morning, we come back and we start to chant again and again and again. And when we call on Krishna, Krishna is there. Krishna is there in his name. He's non-different. This is very important that we realize, because the more that we realize that, the more we will be attentive when we're chanting. The more we will chant with every aspect of ourselves. It's like when we're chanting here together, when we're chanting those 4 rounds, there's tremendous energy from the devotees. I'm just saying that we get encouraged by the other devotees around us, and we see that everyone is trying their hardest to actually to contact Krishna. I read this very, very beautiful, thanks man. I read a beautiful meditation, because we say the Shikshastika every morning. But I read this is from the fifth verse. Does anyone know what the 5th Shikshastika verse is? Yes. I only know the first line of that. I don't know the other 3 lines. Anyone, please somebody say it, because it's such a beautiful verse. Jai. When I'm chanting, sometimes I have these affirmations that Mahatma Prabhu actually made these very, very nice affirmations. And this one, he really sort of strikes at that particular verse. And he says, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta said, the real holy name is the name which is imbued with a service mentality. Prabhupada elaborated on this. My dear Lord, now listen to this first line, this is amazing. My dear Lord, this is Prabhupada speaking, for so long I have been engaged in Maya's service. Now I want to engage only in your service. So please put me under the shelter of your internal potency and uplift me. Pick me up and pull me away from Maya. I don't want to be her servant anymore. I just want to be the servant of you, of Radha, under Radha's energy, your internal potency. Does anyone read the 5th, the English of that one? Ainanda Tanuja Kinkara.
Krishna, I am your eternal servitor. Yet somehow or other I have fallen into the ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from this ocean of death and place me as one of the atoms of your lotus feet.
Yes. What is the main point well, there's many main points in that, but what is, how should we call, in what way should we call out the holy name according to that verse? Helpless, yes, in complete surrender. It means that, yeah, this is a really good point actually, because we were talking about the senses and the material senses, because the mind is generally the center of the senses, and the mind is always thinking about ways to do this and to do that, you know, you should do this and do this, and that the mind is constantly giving us instructions, and we're generally following the mind's instructions. But here, in this verse, it's saying that the mind has no more power over us, you know. We have come to the conclusion that all the stuff our mind has come up with is absolutely useless, you know. It hasn't got us anywhere. It has only got us into this jail, into this prison house. And our chanting is to bring us beyond the mind, is to bring us to the platform beyond the mind. I actually heard a very nice description of how that works. Now, this is very elevated stuff, but it's important to know. What are the 9 processes of bhakti? And what are the stages of according to, I think it's Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, but what are the stages? It starts off with a little Shraddha, okay. What's next? Sadhu Sangha, associating with devotees, and then Bhajana Kriya, practicing rules and regulations, and then Anartha, getting rid of the anarthas, and then what's the next stage? Nishta. So, when we can chant Hare Krishna on the stage of Nishta, we will be able to concentrate on the form of Krishna. So Krishna is in his name, Nam. You know, we're always chanting the name of Krishna. So when we reach the stage of Nishta, of steadiness, then the form appears. You know, so the form of Krishna. Like, this is why we're always chanting his name. We're always worshiping the deity. We're always hearing about Krishna. We're hearing about all the different aspects of Krishna. So we're experiencing that in the sadhana stage. So we, if we can give great emphasis to the sadhana, if we can hear and chant as much as possible, and perform deity worship, all the processes of bhakti, then we will be in a position to actually to see Krishna, just by face to face to see Krishna, you know. So this is what Prabhupada is telling us. Prabhupada has promised us this. Our spiritual masters have promised us this, that we will see Krishna face to face by practicing sadhana bhakti and by reaching the higher stages of Krishna consciousness. So the name, form, the qualities of Krishna. We need to know how wonderful Krishna is. We need to know what an incredible personality Krishna is. So this is Krishna's pastimes, you know. So these stages, the stage of ruchi, the stage, that's what ruchi means? Interest. Taste. Yeah. And then after taste is ashakti, and then bhava. So in these stages, then we will actually start to really love Krishna, you know. And we will hear about his pastimes and his qualities first of all, and then his pastimes. So then we will enter into the whole stage of Krishna consciousness to its highest degree. So it's important to know where we're going in Krishna consciousness and where we want to be. So that's why these different stages are important. Like Atmanishta, you know, we hear it and it's theoretical, but we have to see where it fits in this whole scheme of things. And we also heard from the very start, when I came to Krishna consciousness, I heard about the name, form, quality, and pastimes of Krishna. You know, so I've been chanting the name, and I've been looking at the form, and the qualities I've been hearing about in the Nectar of Devotion, and Krishna's pastimes as well, in the Krishna book and so on, and all the different pastimes in the Bhagavatam. So when I heard that one can experience those to the highest degree just by chanting, it's quite incredible. So it makes me even more determined to chant with attention, and it means that I will put in huge efforts. I gave an example last night of how long does it, I gave it I think on Friday as well, how long does it take to become a brain surgeon, basically? About 10, 12, 15 years, whatever, So people, can you imagine all the study people do to do that? Imagine they go to the College of Surgeons there, and I'm sure Ishwan Prabhu would know, and God would know about that. Spending so many years studying, and the effort that you have to put in, But what about the person who made all the brain surgeons, who made all the brains in the world, who made all Lord Brahma's brain? What about that person? Do you think that you'd have to put in some effort to try to understand that person? Masses of times more, you could say. So much effort you have to put in to understand that incredible personality. But actually we can, just by the chanting. Just by chanting, that's how it all begins. And Prabhupada has made this promise to us, even though it seems like it's a long way off. It is just by, and you can feel it. I just think our managers here in the temple should be given a lot of credit for arranging these programs, arranging the DD understanding yesterday, the program that was done, and all of these things are there. These are all creating the atmosphere by which we can all make a lot of progress. So nice hearing Manav Prabhu speaking the eighth the Shikshastika this morning. So nice to hear that. And so these are there to try to increase our propensity and our understanding to understand Krishna. I will throw in another one as well. The more that we actually and this is Prabhupada, his whole life exemplifies it, which is giving Krishna consciousness to others. To rack the brains, back onto the brain analogy again, to rack our brains, to work out how to give Krishna consciousness to others. To think of many different ways in which we can bring people into Krishna consciousness. That is also so important. So I'll just, is there any comments anyone would like to add anything so far? Any comments, any questions? Yeah.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you so much for the class. Prabhuji, my question is, if we feel satisfied so much, and is it not like we will stop making efforts for the growth which we have the potential for and the opportunities we miss there? So how does we fit in as youngsters when we come so far for success, growth, or things like, if we make the efforts to be like a rich person?
Yeah.
How do this?
Yeah, the satisfaction that's there, that's achieved is it's a different satisfaction than material satisfaction. Generally, I've often studied myself and seeing how I'm satisfied with one thought, I'm satisfied with the next thought, I'm satisfied with, I'm going to have prasadam in a little while, or I'm going to if I work this way then I'll be happy. The mind is always trying out ways in which we seem to be happy, but that's the mind that's doing that. We're trying to get, as Prabhupada talked about here, is the super senses. The spirit soul never sleeps. The six Goswamis, they only slept a couple of hours a day or something, and they didn't even eat hardly. Maharaj Parikshit, when he was just about to die, for 7 days he heard, but he didn't use the bathroom, he didn't take water, He just was so absorbed. So that's the nature of the soul. So that sort of satisfaction is different than the other satisfaction. And but it's a good point that you raised, because what happens is that we kind of mistake in spiritual life that happiness with spiritual happiness, and it's not. And what happens then is we become proud of being a devotee. You know, yeah, I can do this and I can do that, and yeah, and no, that's not the way you do it. You know, we suddenly become experts, you know, and start instructing everybody else while we're not even on the, you know, we haven't got. Now it's important that when somebody younger comes in that you give some instruction, you help it, but you have to be careful that you don't take it on as that you're the best, because actually that's a stage in spiritual, because you mentioned the word youngsters there, which is quite interesting, because Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur said that's one of the first stages, is to think that it's called utsahamai, which means false enthusiasm, and where you think you're the best of all. We all do it, you know. We all think we're the best, you know. Definitely initially, anyway. But the real stage is nadanana janana sundarim. It's, you know, you're crying helplessly, you know. So that is and it's the Trinada Pisanichina, that verse, yeah. Like this is the real currency in spiritual life, you know. This is what really will bring us to those other stages. And you know, Krishna's right next to us. He sees us, everything we're doing. Every time we're a little bit proud of that, you know, Krishna's probably going, go again, you know. You know, he's trying to bring us along in spiritual life, and the devotees are also trying to do that. And that's the association of devotees is very good. And if we have an association which is very powerful, we can interact with each other in a very, very supportive way. It's not that you're going around finding, oh yeah, that's wrong, Prabhu, you do this, blah, 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 you do, you know. It's you're going around, you may observe something for somebody else, and you may be able to say something which will help, you know. In the same way that you're going to be in that situation and you'll need the help of somebody else at some point. And you want, I know everybody, it's even a managerial term that people would like to be corrected, but they have the way in which they want to be corrected. Some people don't like somebody coming and saying to them, listen, Prabhu, you did that. Some people like that. You know, there's certain people who like to be told, okay, don't do that, do this, do this, do this, and they're grateful, you know. I'm not one of those. but there are people who are. I always give the example. There's one sannyasi, his name is Smita Krishna Maharaj. He's from Sweden. And he's kind of a gentle soul. But when he wants to say something to you, he'll say it, you know, in a very subtle way. And he'll say, oh, I really messed up there. You know, he'll let you know that you've been proud or something like that. And he'll say, okay. You know, like, you'll really understand. I actually, that's how I like to be corrected. That's how I can be corrected in that sense, in the best way. Okay, sometimes some heavy medicine is good as well. You know, I won't deny it. And I might say, what do you mean? But then I can come around to it, you know, after a while. But you want to be quite expert to be like that. But the association of devotees is very good for that, you know. And that's why, you know, Krishna has invested some devotees with a power to be able to do that. And as you saw here, the Prabhupada talked about the Varnashram system. There's certain people who've got an ability to control the situation, and certain people have got an ability to create finance. There's certain people who've got an ability to be hugely artistic, and there's other people who've got this ability to be able to see through, Trikalagya, between, you know, to be able to see past, present, and future. You know, they have that vision how not to be entangled, you know, in the future, even from a communal point of view. There's an incredible verse that Rupa Goswami would say, and we're Rupa Nugas, and a Shakta, and I think this lady over here, I don't know her name, it's beside Laura. Vishnu, yeah. You brought up this point the other day, when when we were talking about in other words, to use things for Krishna, and to be able to use things properly for Krishna, and to know the difference, because we are in the material world. We're smack bang in the material world. We're smack bang in the middle of O'Connell Street, and anyone who lives here knows the noise and the racket that goes on outside there and what people are doing. So this is Kali's kingdom, and sometimes we have to be able to discern how to use things, even these types of things, in Krishna's favor. And we shouldn't reject using things. That's the thing. Thinking that, because not to reject things which can be used in Krishna's service. Rupa Goswami calls them Vairagyam Falgu. He calls it false renunciation, incomplete renunciation. So Brahmins and all of us should become expert at using everything in Krishna's service. In other words, we transform all of these material things into spiritual things. That takes real expertise. So, we're trying to spread Krishna consciousness in Kali's kingdom. So we have to be, number one, very pure. Which is purity is the force. We have to really understand this how to purify ourselves. But then we have to be able to utilize all the things that we're surrounded by in Krishna's service. Just like we have a restaurant here, we're trying to bring people in and take prashadam, and that they can make advancement that way. We're trying to do food for life. We're trying to give out prashadam to people. There's so many ways in which we're using the matter in Krishna service. So we have to be very expert to know how to do that. That's something which is there. But anyway, I've gone on a bit from your question, but that's. Is there anything else anyone would like to add or wants to ask? Or can I just highlight the reason that I chose these verses is because in the Bhagavad Gita recently we've been talking about the senses and sense enjoyment, and how to purify the senses, because the senses are by nature they're attracted to material things, and that's why we're in this material world. But Prabhupada here very clearly points out that that's not who we are. We are the spirit soul, and we're spiritual senses. And so he quotes this 6th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. So I just want to didn't get it. Just read, because this 6th chapter, it's verses 21 to 23. They normally all come together, but Prabhupada only picked up. I didn't recognize it when I heard that verse initially. The 6:21, Sukham Atyantikam Yatat. In this spiritually joyous state, one is situated in boundless transcendental happiness and enjoys himself through transcendental senses. Established thus, one never departs from the truth. So Prabhupada is talking about super senses, and that's something that we should realize that's who we are. That's what we're actually giving to people. We're giving Krishna consciousness. We're giving to people that don't take too much. Just take whatever you need. The whole material world is working under the basis that I want, and if you get everything, you'll be happy. We're giving a different message. If we become powerful enough, we can influence society that way. Prabhupada wanted to influence society. He wasn't just going to sort of sit back and not do anything. I want to take the example of Gopal Krishna Maharaj. Right up to the very end, he was doing everything in his power to change the whole material world that he was surrounded by. creating, here's a temple, here's a temple, here's a temple, here's a, just so that people could actually come and learn these things. And so much, in the mood of Srila Prabhupada in that sense, that this is what we don't want to be just some sort of obscure society that nobody kind of knows about, or they just see us on the street and they dismiss us. We do want to have influence in society. We do want to change the world. That's why we're here. It's not an easy thing to do, but it is there. It is available to us. It is. It's kind of up to every single person to make that effort. Do you remember us talking about that strenuous effort? To be an Olympic runner, you've got to, every day you've got to train 2, 3, 4 hours running, and they have to do all of these different exercises. But what have we got to do? We've got to study, really, really understand the text, what we're meant to do. Read Prabhupada's letters, Prabhupada's conversations, Prabhupada's lectures, Prabhupada's books. Become an expert in Prabhupada. People do PhD in college and this and that. Just find, I found that this is very, very rewarding, just to see when Prabhupada said something, and then piece it out. Well, where was he at that time when he was saying that? And what were the circumstances in which he was saying it? It gives you even deeper into insight. Hari Sori's diaries are incredible. They give you a kind of a real eye opener. What was Prabhupada thinking? What was he saying? What was happening? Then you read what Prabhupada was writing, what he was writing in his purports, what was in his letters, what was in his conversations. It's like it's a world, there's a whole world you could spend the rest of your life studying Prabhupada. And then you'll become, and this is what Prabhupada wanted. He wanted us to become like him in that sense. So that's where we get the potency. That's where the potency is. And then we see all Prabhupada's disciples. They're super people. They're just completely absorbed in Prabhupada, and they've imbibed Prabhupada. And we should not forget Prabhupada. We shouldn't. This is our strength. This is because he's saying these things. No one else has said that. I've never heard anyone ever else saying that. That we want to change this planet. We want to stop everybody in their acquisitive nature. We want them to be, and he's saying what Krishna is saying in the. Can anyone remember the Shiva Upanishad, the first 2 verses, or the invocation even? Ishavasha Vedam Satam.
Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamada Purnamevavashishyate.
Yes.
Ishvasha Vidam Sarvam Yadkritam Janitam Jagate Yena Tattenam Tamagvidam Krishnasvidhanam. If I'm not wrong.
No, you're right. And those verses, that's that second verse, or it's the first verse, that is actually the formula for peace in society as well, because it means that it's the best economic program that you can think of. You can think of all the communism, capitalism, No, just take whatever is set aside for you, and be satisfied in that. And then he's explaining as well how we can be satisfied in the world. Just be satisfied with whatever you've got. Now, I thought this was a bit of a hammer blow that in the purport where Prabhupada said that, just be satisfied with whatever position that you're in now. What about all these manuals about no, you can be anything that you want, you can do this, you can go where, you can do you know what I'm saying? All these self-improvement manuals, is that not, we're saying something kind of completely different. What is the bottom line though in that? We're saying that it's okay, your position you're in is fine, you don't have to change it. You have your tendency based on your previous lifetime. Just work on that. What's the difference though? Because some people have used that as a way in which just stay. You're in that position. You just stay in that position. You can't go any further than where you are. People can exploit that kind of mentality as well. So what is the way in which we can defeat that?
You can be anything you want, they're not really wrong, but how you can do it through your own mind, your own, how to say that?
Actions.
Actions, yes, thank you. You can only do it with the Krishna's mercy.
Yeah, well, that's very important.
But
Yeah.
if you pray properly,
Yeah.
you will be satisfied with what you have,
Okay.
by what you have. But still, Krishna can give you even more if you're sincere enough.
More, yeah.
Whatever you have to use it for Krishna. For example, if you are more angry, so you have to use this anger in the service of Krishna, like Arjun did.
Yeah.
So if my personality is more like a serving personality, I have to do cooking for Krishna. I have to use it for Krishna consciousness. Whatever propensity I have.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. You know, the way where I was thinking of this, that is that these actual, you know, what's this? Pachitanya said, Kiba Vipa, Kiba Nyasa Shuja Kani Laya Krishna Tatra, they say that I'm neither a Brahmin, I'm not a sannyasi, I'm not a Sudra, I'm not any of these. I'm the servant of the servant of the servant. And the point that I was getting at was that our spiritual senses is who we are. That's who we actually are. And, you know, so therefore, the spiritual senses are, you know, there's no limit. You know, it's eternal bliss. It's ever increasing. So whatever the seeming external that's going on at the moment, that doesn't matter. I think I was talking with Sanjeev Babu last night, and we talked about it, that Lord Jagannath, sometimes he favors the person who's the outcast. You know, he's not. It's not the high priest. It's not the this. It's not. It's Lord Jagannath has got this love of his devotee who's seemingly not anything, but who's the winner? That devotee is the winner. It doesn't matter who they are. They're having this reciprocation with God. God is not looking at anything else. He's just looking at the love of this devotee. You know. So it's so in that sense, you know, we've got unlimited. If we can actually be on the spiritual platform, there's no diminution, you know, and that's as well. I was thinking we were talking about humility. I think that's how we can be as humble as anything, you know, because we understand that the what Krishna is looking for is our love, you know. So there's also, however, it is not. The love is not that's not the mind's love, you know, what the mind says in that sense. It's you know, because I wanted to say that last thing is that in meditation, it's very important to have the proper meditation when going to Vrindavan, for instance, which I hope to be going to very soon. The actual mentality that we have when we go to the holy places is, because otherwise you can just see there's the hogs, there's the dogs, there's the new hotels and all, you know, you can just, that's all you can see, because that's all the material senses can see. But when we see with the senses of, in the spiritual senses, the highest stage of that seeing is when the mind is no longer acting. The mind has stopped acting, you know, and that the soul is just, it's like the spiritual senses are just acting spontaneously in that sense. That's when we're on. The mind is still acting when we are, you know, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to go here, I want to go there. When the material senses are still somewhat there, you know, the mind is still acting. But when we get onto the spiritual platform, the actual spiritual platform, then it's the spiritual senses are acting, and we're just in love with Krishna, and we're serving Krishna spontaneously out of a deep love for Krishna. yeah, you know, these type of topics can go on and on and on and on. You know, they're just they're limitless. So we better have some breakfast, I think. You know,
It's very
okay. So today we're going to have the Sankirtan festival, isn't it? And from 4 to, we better make sure that everyone who's helped during the marathon that they'll come along today.
Yes, Yash Prabhu has approached most of the people, he said,
Oh,
those
good.
who were out for distribution.
Yeah.
So he said he approached and most of the sponsors as well.
Oh, excellent. Oh, that's really good. Yeah, because it's the marathon is kind of like our, you know, our seva to Srila Prabhupada to spread Krishna consciousness. So it's that's our mission in that sense. So it's a big festival today. So everybody should come along. Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Krishna Prabhupada ki, Go Premanande.
Jai.